Welcome back to another episode of Lauer After Hours presents Cinemeh. This is a podcast series where we watch movies that are rated 69% on Rotten Tomatoes or 6.9 stars on IMDb, and we establish if it's worth it. I am at Deep Count, your host tonight. I am joined by Ed Bob down in the DMV, got Paddy in the OHIO, and got Pal out in Southern California. What's going on, y'all?
Fast and Furious!
What it do?
Drip.
On this episode, we have the 2006 action crime film, The Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. This movie is rated 38% on 180 critic ratings and 69% on over 250,000 audience ratings. And it's rated 6 stars exactly on over 300,000 ratings on IMDb. This movie is directed by Justin Lin. You know him from Fast 4, Fast 5, Fast 6, Fast 9, Star Trek Beyond, Better Luck Tomorrow, and he also directed 2 episodes of True Detective. How about that? This movie, yeah, right? This movie also stars Lucas Black as Sean Boswell. You know him from Friday Night Lights, Sling Blade, Jarhead, and NCIS New Orleans. This movie also has Bow Wow as Twinkie. You know him from Like Mike, Roll Bounce, Lottery Ticket, and Entourage. Yeah, I completely forgot that he was on Entourage. He had that little arc in, one of the later seasons as a comedian trying to get a new show on TV. Anyway, this movie also has Sung Kang as Han. You know him from Better Luck Tomorrow, Fast and Furious series, Bullet to the Head, and a couple episodes on Obi-Wan Kenobi. We've also got Brian T. This is our daisy chain here. Brian T. is Takashi, better known as DK. You know him from Jurassic World, Chicago Med, Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Expats, and of course, The Wolverine. This one also has Natalie Kelly as Neela. You know her from The Baker and the Beauty, Dynasty, The Vampire Diaries, and Body of Proof. Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift has a runtime of 1 hour and 44 minutes or 144 Canadian. That's 104 Canadian. I mess up the conversion there. That's on me. Ball off me, coach. This film had a budget of $85 million and grossed $62.5 million in the United States and Canada and over $158.5 million worldwide. This movie is rated PG-13, and you can currently find it streaming on Peacock. I've got some taglines here for you. Who's ready?
Okay, we'll rank them.
On the streets of Tokyo, speed needs no translation.
I'm listening, Beep. That's a good warm-up. That's not bad.
Solid first one for sure.
Yep, let's hear number 2.
All right, number 2. Welcome to the Underground.
No.
Simple, but too simple. First one's better.
Yeah.
For all I know, it's a dance movie starring Omarion.
I would watch that. Last one here. The Fast and the Furious goes global.
2 on the nose. I guess we'll just go with number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
number 1 for
Yeah,
sure.
first one's definitely the best, for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't like any of them, if I'm being honest.
Well, yeah, it's just it's the best of what there is. They're not all. It's not like I think we're all in that same boat, right? That's why it's like number 1. There was no like real. Oh,
Let me hear number 1 again. Let me hear number 1 again.
On the streets of Tokyo, speed needs no translation.
It's because it tells you you're in Tokyo, and I think that's important. Like,
Yeah.
the last one is just as global, and that's cool.
But
Like,
the
we're taking
title
it
of the
global,
movie- But the title of the movie
Yeah.
is Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Like, it's literally in the title.
yeah, but
The third
but,
one
you know,
implies that there's
but
more.
We still like to know. We still like to know.
Okay.
I think they
And
could
it's
have
just a
worked in
better,
the
it's
quarter
just a better
mile line in there,
tagline in
right?
general.
Like in Japan, a quarter mile at a time is the some working the translation, something like that. Too working some of the lines from the first one. I don't know. But yeah,
They go kilometers out there.
not
though.
the
You
best,
Can't do a
but-
quarter mile, and
That's true.
Grant, you gonna shift it to kilometers.
That's true.
It's gonna be awkward. I don't
at
know what the
500
version is.
meters.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Justin Lin, had nothing to do with those, based on his work, you know. So
Yeah.
just throwing that out there.
All right, quick summary here of this movie. After a string of reckless street racing incidents lands him in trouble once again, outsider Sean Boswell is sent to live with his father in Tokyo, Japan. Struggling to fit in to a new culture, Sean discovers the underground world of drift racing and quickly finds himself in over his head. With the help of the mysterious and endlessly cool Han, Sean learns the art of drifting while making powerful enemies, including Takashi, known as DK, the Drift King. As rivalries escalate, the loyalties are tested. Sean must prove himself on the streets of Tokyo in a high-stakes showdown that will determine his future and his place in the racing world. Okay.
I mean,
Alright.
his future. Yeah, I guess.
Pretty much sums it up.
Listen,
Now,
if if we could play a little bit of like kind of armchair quarterback, Captain Hindsight here when it comes to our friend here, we're talking about someone who, if we're looking more towards the modern day Fast and the Furious, is now a rocket scientist. So if we're talking about how this sets in motion his future, it does. Okay, like pretty solid here. Just we need to sprinkle that in, throw that out there.
Well, I'm going to be vulnerable here. I'm going to be open and honest with you. I have only seen 3 of the Fast and Furious. So I saw number 1, Too Fast, and of course this one here. I have never seen any of the others. No, this is all.
You haven't even seen the best one. You haven't even seen the best one, first of all, which is Fast 5, and then you haven't even seen the second best one, which is Fast 7. So hey,
That's a
if you
crime.
and the missus have some
That's
free
a
time
crime.
coming up, go ahead, pull up a chair. But the first one with The Rock is Fast 5. They're in Brazil. It's just it's a work of art, quite frankly. Get on it.
Really.
Yeah.
Honestly, 1 through 4, 1 through 3, works of art. Okay. And 5 is there. 7 is there. I don't know if I hit 9 and 10. They got 9 and 10, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm at 9 and 10. I think I maybe 9. Don't know if I've seen 10 because I don't think I've seen them in space.
I'm sure you're gonna ask us which of
They
these
go to
is one of the-
space?
They go
I'm telling
Cars
they
in
go to
space?
I'm telling you,
Yes,
Sean
cars in space.
Hell
Sean
outta here.
Boswell becomes a rocket scientist, and he designs a car that can drift in space.
Whoa.
Incredible.
Let's
Spoiler alert.
What? Sean Boswell comes back?
Yes,
Sean
I'm not-
Boswell didn't
okay.
die.
I got
Sean
on beat
Boswell
for
does
not
indeed come
seeing
back.
a lot, but this was my first time ever watching Tokyo Drift, to be honest with you.
Oh wow,
Tokyo Drift was an
Okay.
ancillary film to me. It was not an important one. They said, "Oh, it's not the original people. I don't need to watch it." You take it to the side. It was just out there for me. So this was literally my first time sitting down and watching it.
Well, if that's the case, the first time I watched it is because I was just hearing excellent things about it. Like a lot of people, I love the first 2, right? The fact that I'm here in LA County, and the first one's set in Los Angeles. It is, a lot of people my age really liked the first one, and it resonated with us very much so. And when I heard really good things about the third one is when I watched it, and I was quite impressed. I not thinking I would be, because I was like, we're going from Ludacris, who killed it in Too Fast, Too Furious, not a Bow Wow. Okay, hold on. But then the little after credit scene that comes at the end of the movie. I heard that was involved, and that's like the whole reason why I watched it. So
It just made me smile watching that. It made me smile. Are we talking about the race, right?
after the race,
There's an after the
Yeah.
race?
Oh
There's
yeah,
an
there's
after the race.
Oh,
There's a little bit of a scene after the race, but we'll get there. We're getting there. I'm
Yes, I
jumping
didn't even
around, I'm
tap
jumping ahead.
in.
Beep is like, God damn it, I have a whole
I'm
list of
going mute.
questions. And
No. You're fine. You're fine.
getting nostalgic again. Sorry.
Yeah,
Beep.
but Samuel L. Jackson comes back at the end, and he recruits Lucas Black, Sean
Listening.
Boswell to be the Avengers. So,
and that's how we get Iron Man.
and that's how we get Iron Man. All right, let's dive right into some questions here. Is Tokyo Drift actually a better movie than its reputation suggests? Pal, I'll go to you first.
Okay, right off the bat, absolutely. It in I think the thing that's telling about this movie and how good it was, I think actually I would say maybe its reputation's on par because Justin Lin goes on to direct the next what 3 movies after this.
He did
Because of
4,
how
5,
well,
6, and 9. Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah. So he does 4 more after this, but he does just a really good job. I think he didn't do 5.
Yes, he did
Okay.
Fast and Furious, so number 4, Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, and then F9, the Fast Saga.
Yeah. Okay. So, um, but I think that just goes to show that this movie was really well done. And it was a lot of the way he was able to kind of direct and use a lot of different angles for how they film these racing scenes. But it's really what makes the movie good, and I think the reason why the first one is so liked and the third one is so liked in a similar fashion is there's just so much racing in the 2 movies. And it's like at the end of the day, you were going to see a cool car movie and cool racing, and we just talked about racing as opposed to spacing, and as cool as that is, it's like totally off track from what these movies started as. So, having that in Tokyo Drift, it's almost kind of similar to the first Fast and the Furious, right? But culturally, instead of being set in Los Angeles, you're just set in Tokyo, Japan. So it has a whole different feel, right? And it's funny because it's still the gang and the villains in question still are the same, right? I believe they're like it's like the triads of like in Fast and Furious one, in the Fast and the Furious, and then we have or I guess it's the Yakuza in Tokyo Drift. So we have a little bit of a different thing, but they still go with Asian gangs for whatever in both of them.
I think it's just kind of criminal enterprises is I guess the vibe that they're kind of going for. But no, I totally hear you on that, and it's got to be it's easily hated on a little bit more than it should be, just because it doesn't have Dom and it didn't have Paul Walker, and it until maybe certainly later into the post editing things, and they kind of weaved the storyline of Tokyo Drift into the rest of the Fast and the Furious, but. Um, I for what it's worth, like Pat was saying, it's you're watching this movie because you wanted to watch cars, fast cars, and them go really loud and right by you really fast, right? Like on your screen. So if you have really any other like opinion about the movie, you kind of came in trying to watch something that this wasn't ever supposed to be.
In
What you
in
think?
in hindsight, now that there's been so many more movies, it's a good break, even though it's early on and it's after the first 2 movies where we're just kind of getting set. It's still a good like break, and then based on I guess the timeline of things, they say you watch the movies in a little bit of a different order, and this one would be like a little bit later on, but like I think it's nice to have, and like you said, it's definitely for people who wanted to see cars and more specifically the Japanese car culture. And I do think that they did a pretty good job of capturing that. Um, based on the knowledge that I have of the Japanese car culture, I think they did a really good job of showing that, portraying that throughout the movie. Um, and so it's a really good, just like different, a different vibe than the normal Fast and Furious movies. So I think it's a good, like a good break from the normal, especially since there's 9, 10 plus movies.
Well, Ed, I'm going to stay with you here. What were your expectations going into Tokyo Drift since you hadn't seen it before?
Um, as far as the storyline, didn't really have like I knew the basis of it. I knew it was a white kid who got in trouble who had to move out to Tokyo for whatever reason. Um, I didn't know that he was moving out there with the dad. I don't know why I should have assumed that, but I just was like okay, this white kid has to go to Tokyo for some reason. But yeah, got in trouble, had to move to Tokyo. So like I knew that. But like in general, it was like wasn't anything out of the ordinary. It was pretty much what I expected. Um, and as somebody who knows or has a little bit of knowledge on like the Japanese car culture, I think it was good, and I think it put that into it portrayed that well, put that in a good light, and then also just with a pretty good story in general, even though it wasn't related to the first two, that we know in any way specifically. As if you watch them in order as they came out, it was just like, oh, this is random. And I think, like I said, I think that's why I never watched it, because obviously I saw the first two, and then this came out and it was like, okay, well, what is this? This is not what it was before. So I have no reason to watch it, and I just never felt the need to watch it before. But I mean, I thought it was a solid movie.
So, Pow and Patty, where does this movie rank for you in the Fast franchise?
Oh man, it's interesting, right? Because we had a ranking question last week when it came to the X-Men movies, and there's just so
Right.
many movies when it comes to that franchise that it was really where it's like, oh, the Wolverine is actually a good movie, but it was really hard to like slot it at a certain point, right? And in the Fast and the Furious, it's like you have these points, and it's almost like BR and AR, right? Before the Rock and then after the Rock. Okay, so you have that point. Obviously, they have some of their tension, but if we do a Mount Greg Moore, okay, if I can here, that kind of thing, we're rolling now, right? When it comes to some of the movies, Fast Five is taking the top spot for me. Then it's gonna go Fast Seven.
Is Fast Five is Brazil?
Fast Five is Brazil. Fast Five is the first one with The Rock.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
Brazil. Okay,
Justin Lin was absolutely cooking in that movie. The race scenes were really on point. There's a lot of racing in this movie. Four, they four, it's kind of funny, right? We're sports adjacent and affiliated. Four is like when you put a super team together and there's that filling out process. Okay, you got Paul Walker back in the game. You got him back with Vin Diesel, but now you're throwing in Justin Lin. Okay, so you have these three big figures of the franchise now all working together for the first time. All right, and they need to gel. And it by the second season that they're together, which is Fast Five, oh, cooking with gas, instant titles. All right, they go on a run. Okay, so Fast Five is taking that top spot. Number two, we're gonna bump Christmas for now. Okay, I'm gonna throw Fast Seven in there. Number three, the first one, the Fast and the Furious, just based solely off nostalgia. Then we're gonna have to throw in probably Fast Six, and then I'm gonna have to like round off here with I think because yeah, Fast Six, and then Too Fast, Too Furious. Paul Walker, said I got the franchise. I'm gonna take over for right now. It has to go in the Mount Greg Moore. We get Tyrese introduced to the franchise. We get Ludacris introduced to the franchise. And it is really kind of like the Avengers origin story for the Fast series, right? That's why Tokyo Drift is also important. So it's gonna be my OLI. All right, it's gonna be my outside looking in. It's probably gonna be that next film, just because there's a lot of essential characters in that movie later on in the series, specifically Han. Okay, Han. They realize Han is such a cool character. They bring him back. All right. He drifts in real life as a he started getting into the actor himself. So that's kind of badass. But this movie is on the outskirts of my Mount Greg Moore. Patty.
Yeah, if we're going Mount Greg Moore's, I think number or five or OLI is gonna actually OLI is probably gonna have to be Fast Six for me. It's a fantastic movie and a great continuation of what was built on in Fast Four and Five. But it's just for me, we kind of already get the characters, and it's kind of where we start to lose where the before BR, like you were saying, before the Rock. At number four, we are it's probably Too Fast, Too Furious for me. I really do like that one. It's just a really fun story. A lot of racing. Number three is going to be the original, The Fast and the Furious. I mean, it's a classic. The nostalgia factor, like Pat was saying, it's there. It's the first one I watched, so I'm always gonna have a lot of love for that one. For number two, we are gonna move Christmas aside again, and instead we are gonna have Tokyo Drift. This is easily my favorite movie before my number one spot came out, and for a lot of reasons, but mostly like Pal said, it's Han. Han is such a cool character. You just kind of fall in love with him the first time you see him on camera. He's just he's cool. He's charismatic, and he takes the young buck under his wing. Right. Number one, gotta be Fast Seven. It was just such a great way to have really ended the series, and sort of unfortunately, Fast Seven was so much of a blockbuster and such a good movie that they have continued down the path of just going farther and farther into the make believe, to the point where there's a scene, and I can't remember which movie exactly, but Ludacris and Tyrese are like basically pinned down and into like a hole, and an entire army empties their entire clips of like 30 rounds each into them, and they come out unscathed completely. I think that might be the space movie as well. I just can't remember which one that one was off the top of my head.
That might be Fast Nine.
I
Uh,
think it's nine. I think you're right.
yeah, but we keep calling it. I know that it's
Yes,
like
Furious
all of them
7.
should be called Fast, but yeah, Furious Seven. Just in case there's anybody out there who want to get on our ass. Just we got it. We know. We get it. Right.
Understand.
Disclaimer. Ed Bob.
All right. So 5 is Brazil. We discussed that, right?
Yep.
4 is when Letty comes back, correct?
Four is when Letty comes back. Yeah.
So give me a refresher on 6 and 7 right quick. What
Okay.
was 6?
Six is the first one when they're in London. All
It's
right.
That's
first
with
time you
Hobbs?
meet. Yeah.
No. Well,
Hobbs-
Hobbs is the Rock.
Or
Shaw,
Shaw. That's with
which is
Shaw.
Jason Statham, that's Fast Seven or Furious Seven. So Statham comes in seven because his brother Shaw.
Hobbs was killed, or Shaw's brother was killed in 6, correct? And
Correct.
that's when Shaw came through in 7 and started messing shit up.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. So 7. What now? Refresh me on 7. Obviously, Shaw comes in, but where I'm not.
Seven is when the family really needs to get together because Jason Statham, who plays Deckard Shaw, comes after the family,
That's when
and he's not holding back. He goes after
old
the
boy
Rock.
died in that one. Old boy died in that one.
That was the one that Paul Walker died, but while
Okay, he
shooting.
died before that. Okay, yeah. All right,
Did he die in that
yeah.
one or did he die in eight? It might
It
have
was
been
before that
seven.
one because that's the one where they cruise
It was
off in the
7.
end and he's in the white Supra, correct?
Yeah,
And they
that's true
split
because
ways.
And
they have
I'll
a
see
whole
you again
they have
plays.
they have a whole
Yeah.
discussion about how he has a
Okay.
kid now, and he can't really be into that spy life anymore because he's got a kid, and like
Yeah, I don't.
he
Yeah.
needs his dad, and
Okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I got it. I
Mhm.
don't remember that one that well, but that one has sentimental whatever to it. But okay, so we're doing a Mount Gregmore here. So this
Now
is
that's what
this
I'm
is
talking
5.
about.
All right. So my number 5, I mean, 6 and 7, they weren't that memorable to your boy here. So those are definitely my OLI and number 5. 7 will go with number 5. So 6 is OLI.
Number four.
4. Huh. 4, I might have to go. I literally might have to go 4 on this one.
The Fast
That
and
he comes back. Yeah, Fast
yeah.
and Furious.
This is
It's a
this
good
is when the
one.
super team is assembled,
Yeah,
right?
team solidly assembled. Very good.
Mhm.
Letty comes back. We're all surprised. That's the thing. They got people coming back to life, which is the
Well,
thing.
Letty was dead to start the movie.
I'm saying.
Mhm.
And so,
Well, actually, Letty's dead pretty much through that one and through the fifth one. So
yeah.
that's how good the fifth one is that Letty's not even really in it.
Mhm. And
Sorry.
honestly, so this rating is based on 1 through 7 because I cannot give anybody an accurate depiction on 8 and further than that. to be fair. So
All right.
maybe once I get into those, I can change this list. But we just going first through the first seven right here. And so my
Number
number
three.
three is going to be number three, Tokyo Drift. That's where I'm gonna put it. Fresh off
Wow.
fresh off the watch. I'm gonna put it there. I liked it. Great storyline, but very kind of predictable storyline. Even though it was good, very immersive into the culture, very predictable. My number two is number one, and my number one is number two. Too Fast, Too Furious is my top movie. Brings in Tyrese. You got O'Connor out there having to make amends for how he did Tyrese dirty in the past. You get the iconic R34 GTR that made pretty much every young boy a car lover. That opening scene in that movie is iconic. We all know it. You got the race, Ludacris calling them up. Hey, we need a fourth. You got 5 minutes. What does he do? He hops into his Skyline, jets off and gets there, then wins the race. Opening race, crazy. And just the cars in the scene, amazing. It's my top movie.
There we go.
Does Lucas Black's southern accent kind of just distract from everything, or does it actually add to anything with his character?
Better,
Why?
better than Con Air. Better
Why?
than Nick
Because he's
Cage's accent
Gajin.
in Con Air.
Because he's got
It-
Gene.
it-
That's why.
Because he
Gaijin is
Gajin.
better than Nicolas Cage. I think they're really trying to sell we have an American in Japan. And nothing does that like quite like the accent. I think it goes away when he becomes educated and becomes a rocket scientist. But for this movie, it's a little bit essential, right? Because you also have Bow Wow, who's also a different kind of army brat, providing a different kind of narrative in a little bit. But you need that they really wanted to set that apart, right? Oh, this guy's just in a different world. They took him from his own, and now he's in a different world.
Just the classic fish out of water story, right?
Yep. Mad Bob?
No, no, no. It just is. It's just funny the way you articulated everything about Bow Wow.
Well, no, it's because like
They,
you have
they
two
brought a
different. You
black
have two,
guy in. They brought a
well,
black.
yeah, they have a black guy.
They brought a
No,
black
but
guy in.
even the girl who's I don't even know what like
Australian. She's Australian
she's Australian.
Japanese.
Okay, that's right. That's right. She
Her mom was a whore, from what I gathered. She was the town whore, and then Takashi's grandmother took her in after her mom passed away. That's neither here nor
Hey,
there. I'm
that's what I'm
sorry.
talking about.
I'm sure she was a nice lady. Beep the music.
Don't
I
do
think
that.
this is good.
Don't put him on the spot
I
like that.
I was waiting for Patty to answer.
Oh,
No,
sorry,
no, no.
Patty. I was just like, okay,
No, it
it
did feel like a natural
put me on
time
the spot.
to go.
Fine. It's on the soundboard. I'm going to use it.
Patty.
So I think it plays a tremendous role in the fact that with Nick Cage, he's clearly trying to do something, whereas in this movie, he is unable to rid himself of that voice. Is really what's going on here. So I think we're kind of looking at two an apples and oranges situation, but for the movie, it plays significantly better knowing that he's the only person that is in with maybe 100,000 kilometers that can even remotely be the same sound. All
I
right, B,
agree.
play the sound.
I think the reason why, hold on real quick. I think the reason why I just looked up where he's from. He's from Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think him
that's
actually
his
being from
accent. Yeah, he's
Alabama
got that
is
accent.
explaining why he's better than Nick Cage, who had to travel to Alabama to sound like what he already sounds like.
He watched Forrest Gump. We
I wonder if
discussed
he
this.
trained with him. Maybe he trained with old Sean.
Maybe. He didn't train enough.
I forgot that
Literally the worst.
he was in the movie The War when he was 11.
Yes.
Lucas Black, and his head was the same size as it was in
Hey yo,
Why are you looking at his head like that?
That's wild. That's wild.
his name's Lucas Black.
Why does Han steal every scene that he's in?
Ooh, okay. I'll let one of you guys take this one first, then
Yeah.
I'll come in, Ed Bob.
Aura, as the kids say this day. Han has aura. He's always aura maxing, except he's not doing it on purpose.
He's aura snacking. That's all he's
Aura
eating half the movie.
exactly.
That's it.
And because they said Han used to be a smoker, and so that's why Han always keeps his hands moving. Because he used to be a smoker, so now he always got to keep his hands and his mouth busy. So that boy always snacking on something, always jittery, just laid back. He got the aura. He's like, you know, why why race? If I'm not racing for something valuable, why do it? Oh, why'd you let me drive your car? Why not? It's just a car. If you crash it, so what? He just has that nonchalant aura about him. And that's why Han steals every scene. Even when he dies, even when he blew up, stole the scene.
And he dies like 5 times throughout like all of these movies too.
It's crazy.
And then he comes back in just a many a different fashion. Spoiler alert, but no,
Great.
very cool.
Now, what's the point of watching the other 7 movies?
Family.
Spoiler alert.
He it's just the chip thing. It's so smooth. There's this video that breaks down like every different bag of chips that like he eats them all in a different fashion, right? But all of it has that same quality and theme that Ed Bob's talking about, right? Effortless, laid back, just naturally cool. Okay? The hair too. All right? And even in death, even in losing him, but there's a reason why this movie is essential to the whole storyline itself because we are introduced to him here, all right, and then it seems like almost every movie up until 9 or 8 takes place before this one. Okay, and then after around 7, 8 ish is when you realize like, oh, it's funny because like there's like at least like 3 different villains throughout the whole series who claim responsibility for Han's death. And then yeah, so it's a whole thing. But he's excellent friends with Vin Diesel, with Dom Toretto. They're boys. Okay, so if he's got Dom's stamp of approval, you just
They're
know he's a cool guy.
family.
They're
They're
family.
not just
I'm sorry,
boys. They're
they're brothers.
family.
They're brothers. They're family. Okay, one's chips, are nice and salty, maybe a salt and vinegar. Okay, while the other person's chips are a Corona. All right, to each their own.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you guys are totally right. You two are both absolutely right. He just has the nonchalant aura about him. For me, why he steals every scene that he's in this movie is because it's so quick paced. It's always panning shots to a different cut, and then you're in the next scene. And it feels like Bow Wow is used more to be just the convection to the next scene, or to explain whatever happens through the like whatever is happening. For example, when Gaijin is getting brought around by Han after he gets tossed around by the bear claw guy. He is brought into like a 21 and up kind of club. He's has girls kind of all over him, and then Bow Wow, who's supposed to go to the same school, also looks 15 years younger and looks like he is in high school. just shows up, pulls him away from from the two girls, explains where they're at. A couple scenes later, he's basically the just used. They show a soccer pitch. He shows up for half a second, and then all of a sudden we're following Han up to Sean, and then they have a quick conversation and cut to a couple scenes later. He's used to get the story to a point where Sean can talk to his love interest, and it's more about, I think, just having he steals the scene because he is just used because of how the other people are used around him. I think Sean, I don't think, is strong enough to carry many scenes by himself, which is kind of, I think, why between the three of Han, Sean, and Bow Wow, like we are of Twinkie, we are all. It's kind of all Han for sure.
And the best soundtrack for any of the movies. Which like the
Absolutely.
soundtrack is pretty solid because Ludacris and Too Fast, Too Furious. Oh my god, I used to listen to that soundtrack all the time. Okay, but the Tokyo Drift one, I gotta say top six. That song alone.
Beep's getting his money's worth today.
Well, hopefully we don't get this episode shadow banned for one reason or the other. Was DK a good villain, or was he just constantly annoyed by Sean?
No, no. A good villain is never motivated by a woman. Okay. In my opinion, because you worry about a woman when you could, he wasn't even worried about the money because he didn't even know about the money until Uncle Katama came
Kamada.
in and said he's scamming from us. And he said, "Oh, if it was that much, I wouldn't noticed. It must not be that much." He wasn't even worried about the money. He was worried about the high school girl. Let me say that again. The high school girl.
Predator.
So I gotta say, not a great villain if you worry about a high school girl.
So does that increase his villain status because he is a predator?
No. That just no. That don't make him don't make him a good villain. That just make him a bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's just he's just a young, immature punk, right? Who's trying to show that he's tougher than what he really is, but really in the whole, if you look at the whole series as a whole, he is the weakest villain. He is the worst of everyone we have. Because even the villains that we have in the first Fast and the Furious kill some of the essential people that you come to love in that cast. Okay, but this one it's just like DK is kind of you're more terrified of who his relatives are and not necessarily him, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
Speaking of that, does the Yakuza subplot add anything to this movie, or is it just kind of a throwaway? We have to have a bad guy in here. We're in Japan, so why not make it Yakuza?
It just, I mean, it makes sense just based on how the other two movies kind of followed, right? Like we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but each movie kind of follows like a subplot of underground crime or of mafioso type of crime syndicates, and it made sense. I think that they were trying to keep that aspect of the original few movies kind of alive there when they were changing up the entire cast to kind of, or to at least play high schoolers, even though Sean looks like he's about 45 in every frame.
Thank you.
Here's the difference right here. In the first in the reason why I compared this third one to the first one and not necessarily to the second one. In the second one, you already kind of see Paul Walker kind of working with the FBI going after kind of some more major crime. Okay, because he's dealing with some people who are involved with like the Colombian drug trade. All right, but you still have a little bit of local police working in there, but there's that going on. But in these movies, the reason why the Yakuza kind of works is because it's street racing, so you kind of have street gangs involved, right? Where it's kind of like on a similar par like that. And then when you get into year four, year five, year six, that's when the FBI and the MI6 start getting involved because Dom Toretto, he's starting out since he is small time. He's kind of having these issues with local gangs, and then it starts to escalate once he becomes more of on the FBI's most wanted list. But and that's when The Rock needs to come in, and that's when it really goes to a different level, and we start becoming a little bit about heists at first, and then from heists and major drug runs with the cartel, then it becomes like these secret agent missions to save the world.
Uh,
Ed Bob, you
uh,
issue with what I'm saying?
I don't know if I agree because okay, so like refresh me again. Fourth film was it Dom and the crew? They weren't the one. Were the ones in the nefarious activities?
No, they weren't the ones in nefarious activities. Dom was on the
It
run,
was Letty's crew. Dom
but
was on the run
Letty's
because
crew. Oh yeah,
Brian let him go in the second one. There's time that
no, Brian let
elapsed.
him go in the first one.
The first one, my bad. Apologize. But you was talking about the I think even from the first one, because Brian was always the police.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, but in the
He was
second,
always police. And he was police from the get go because the iconic line from the first one. He's a cop.
like
And
Jeff's
then
dog.
when he calls it in, you are the cops.
Mm-hmm.
He was always the
Oh,
police. And the second one came. The second one is when he switched sides because he was undercover. Yes, he was with the FBI, the CIA, whoever he was with. But that's when he switched sides because that's when he went back to Tyrese, his homeboy, said, made amends, and end of that movie, they stole some cash. Our pockets ain't empty, and we ain't hungry no more. Okay. So I don't agree when you say that it was just it hopped into the fourth one when it got super deep into you know the nefarious things because we got into there pretty early on, and then
no,
the
well,
third one
I'm
has
that's why
nothing
I
to
said the
do with
second one's
anything.
that's why I said the second one's a little bit different because in the second one they have to pair up with the FBI to then go, work in in that world. But I'm saying in the first and third one, the reason why the Yakuza is essential is because it's street gang with, street racing as
You still
opposed to
got the yeah, but there you still got the gang, the Miami, the down there in Miami gang, old boy who was
but
running
he's
stuff,
but
who
he's
they was
working with the
working for.
cartel. That's why the FBI is
He's
involved.
a cartel.
It's
That's all
larger
part of a
scale.
gang, though. That's they just
Larger
different.
scale though.
They
Okay,
taking
neither here nor
gangs
there.
from different areas. You got the L.A. gang. First off, the first gang, like you said, the triads. That you got the triads. Second one, you got down there the cartels or whatever you want to call him. Because I feel like still once we get to the fifth one, Brazil, that's the cartels and guys down there. We just taking different gang groups in each
Bow Wow
film.
said when we met DK for the first time, right? It's the Japanese mafia.
The Yakuza, yeah, exactly. So you move from first off, they're in a gang in the first one. Dom and his crew is a gang, but then they beefing with the Triad, the other gang. And the second one, we got the. I don't even know if I will. I guess he's the cartel, but he was kind of just the. He was like the cartel's guy down there in Miami. So he was working with the cartel, but he wasn't like really cartel. He was kind of just drug dealer Miami. Third one, we got Yakuza,
Baby.
and then the
I
fifth
can't
one.
really trust anything that Bow Wow says. I mean, he's talking about the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia, but he also couldn't remember the name of the Mona Lisa. Hey, what's that famous painting of that lady that's always smiling? Like, come on.
And Sean remembered out of all people.
Thank you, Ed
the
Bob.
the 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 hick from South Lick. He knew
Hey
what the Mona Lisa
yo,
was, and you didn't.
shout out, hey yo.
That was great.
Is Neela a strong character or just a plot device?
A plot device. It's pretty
Yeah.
clear. I mean, I mean, we find out relatively quickly that this young man is very interested in young ladies, and that's why he gets kicked out of his school in Arizona or New Mexico or California or Texas, somewhere in the desert. But he was kicked out of there because he decided to just drive through a fucking house. Because why?
Because he's got it bad for the ladies. He's always constantly he's not getting himself into trouble because of the cars. Okay? Because,
So many things are wrong there. Okay, I need to take this back because it was just mentioned. Yeah, in Arizona, right? They're driving through this housing development that no one is working on in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week. Like there's no one there. Don't
it's
get
hot.
it. Okay.
It's hot.
No, no, it's in school. It's in okay. There's a whole thing with the timeline, right? So it's got to be sometime after August, September, October, somewhere in that time frame because they're in school. They have the football game going on, and then when he gets out to Tokyo, the trees all have Christmas lights on them. So it's what's the timeline?
Maybe the company who was constructing the neighborhood went under, and then so it was just there. That's why it was locked up because it was there. They had started building, but then they went under. Maybe a recession hit.
This is before the housing bubble. This was 2005, 2006. The housing bubble didn't start until 2008.
Some people just do bad business.
That's possible, but
I'm just trying to give a plausible explanation here. I don't know.
Maybe it's a football crazy town. There's a big game going on that night, right? So they know, all right, we got our work done days ago. Okay? We're going to be going to that football game as a community. All right? And that's why the housing development was abandoned.
But did you notice football players, I assume football players, but when he threw the ball and broke old boy's rear windshield, it was a baseball.
Yeah, so the baseball goes through the back windshield, it hits something, goes back through the same hole that it came out of, and lands behind the car off to the right. There is no human on earth, Shohei Ohtani, Jacob Mizorowski, that can throw a baseball through a back window, have it bounce off of something, and go back out through the exact same hole. Not happening.
Paul Skeens?
No, not even Paul Skeens.
Tyreek Skubal?
Not even Scoobs. And that's just like 4 or 5 of the things that like drive me absolutely crazy about this movie.
We'll get into I have the timeline explanation though. It's the timeline's the 7th. He got there on the 7th.
Okay, so so he was supposed to get there on the 7th, right? So it's a day behind, right? So now it's the 8th in Japan. The dad is there with some lady of the night and doesn't think, oh hey, my son was supposed to be here yesterday. He's not here. What the hell should I do? Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna go pick up this prostitute and not worry about my son. He'll get here maybe. Like there's no phone call. There's no hey, where's my kid? The hell?
He said he was going to be there, which means that he thought that it was going to be tomorrow, like the next morning that he was going to be there, which theoretically would have been the 9th.
Correct. And then dad leaves a note on the kid's school uniform. Hey, train leaves at 7. What train? What stop do I get off on? Can I read the stop that I get off on? Where do I go to the school? Where is the school? What's the name of the school? I'm sorry.
Terrible.
Sorry. I had to hit it.
To be fair, old boy pulled up in the middle of me doing what I gotta do. Okay, I'm already set back. I'm already taken aback. Okay, and then he comes in the crib. I try to converse with my boy, and he just hit me with the "Where do I sleep?" All right, where do you sleep? You sleep in there. What train do you take? Figure it out. You ain't trying to talk to me. You clearly don't need no answers. You got it all figured out.
I
What
think
you
he
need to
wanted to
know.
go. I think he wanted to finish what he had started with the Lady of the Night. That's really why he said lights out in 10. You sleep in there.
Well, and I'm going to, jump on this one here. I apologize. I cannot confirm or deny if that nice young lady was, in fact, a prostitute. But she was displaying the behaviors of a
I
prostitute.
think the correct term is sex worker. Okay. And there's
It was
nothing wrong
2006.
with her occupation. Let her
Oh,
do what
and
she does.
nothing wrong with it whatsoever.
Salute to her. I mean, honestly,
Get your bread up.
get it how you live.
Anything else we kind of
Military.
missed from this movie? I think we've pretty much touched on just about everything.
Well, I think this movie does a really what a really big plot line, or I guess not plot line, but a crucial part to the plot is Han's death. Because like I said, it does get brought up in several movies after this one. So it is kind of like important to the overall bigger picture of the Fast saga, the Fast universe, whatever, whatever you want to call it. Um, and then we get to our final race, right? And then it's interesting because Sean, they kind of try to make Sean like a hybrid of like Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, right? They kind of try to make him like Brian and Dom.
Is that why he's
Because
40?
is he 40?
He
In the
looks
movie,
40.
yeah, he looked 40 for sure.
But he's a high schooler.
That looks
Look at
40.
his face.
I
I
don't know.
see.
You know what? That's good
I've known
acting.
a few dudes though from high school that looked old
Well, no,
like
let's
that.
Not 40 years old. Like I can
No,
see,
he
he looks like
was
22, 23.
he was
But
24 years old when this movie came out.
Yeah, but he looked 40.
Yeah.
That's the point. Why okay.
He's a man. He's 40.
You go
Down
ahead.
south, he been through. First off, he been in a couple car accidents. Okay, that takes a
Yeah,
toll on you.
that's true. You see that car?
And
It might be plastic surgery. Is that what you're saying?
no. Just that he rough around the edges. I mean,
Stress,
the
lots of
stress
stress.
of divorced parents.
Home to home, moving home to city to city.
Moving around all the time. They said this is our third town in 2 years. Come on, man.
They had to
Speaking
send
of
him to
parents,
the country to avoid-
speaking of parents, while we're on this topic of parents, why did only one set of parents show up for Home Improvement and his girlfriend? That to me makes it look like they're brother and sister because it's just her mom and his dad. Like, I don't. I'm sorry.
It's the connections. It's just it's the higher ups, right? It's the it's being connected. Okay, so it's just like that dad already had an in with the police department. He's just like, okay, I'm just getting these two out of here. He could have, if he wanted to, he could have gotten Boswell out of there too. Okay, just for the sheets and giggles of it all. Okay, but he didn't. All right. But yeah, he's just got that kind of pool. That's all. That's all that is right there. Um, hey, you got to say, Sean has some charisma and confidence. All right, because through it all, blood in your teeth. He was still confidently, trying to hit on old girl in the police station. Right? Did not deter him. He won that race. All right, and somewhere along the lines, right? She's talking shit to Home Improvement, rage baiting the fuck out of him. Okay, getting him to go like absolutely lose his mind and shit. He on the brink of tears. You see those tears in his eyes?
He's just a sore loser, though, and I don't like that, man. Like everybody, all of the people, you losing a race, you just don't start ramming the dude's car because you losing the race. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, the
That
car that you
doesn't-
didn't want to race in because it was worth too much money. This thing sells for
Exactly.
80 grand.
Yeah, and 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. Yeah, well, so does my Volkswagen.
And it's just you. I know rubbing is racing, but that's like real racing, y'all. You just sore losers, man. Every one of them, sore losers. You see, what's his name, Sean? He was losing, and what did he do? He just kept losing. He destroyed the car. He didn't destroy your car.
He went
He
through the
messed up
house.
your stuff. Like when he was losing that drift race in the garage, he just kept hitting walls. He did destroy some people's cars, but
Yeah.
not on purpose. Not the person he was racing, and not because he was losing the race, just because he was incompetent at drifting.
But what about the
So
house?
the house that is there's no excuse for that. There's absolutely no excuse for that. When he did that, I'm telling you, within the first couple minutes of the movie, I was very upset because that's a whole
He
house.
he picked the middle too. Like he picked the middle support
He went through
frames.
that
Like he
stairwell.
turned. He turned to go straight through all of like just the middle of the frame of the house, which is just gonna make it collapse. Like he could have picked
That,
one
yeah,
side, saved some of it at least. Would have been a little bit better for him. Maybe his mom wouldn't
extremely
have
disrespectful.
had to do anything with the, so to speak, with that police officer who's pretty terrible at acting.
That upset me. That scene upset me for sure. The race
Play it,
isn't
B.
that important. The race isn't that important. Dodge the house.
All right, let's get into some trivia here before we
All right,
get into
sorry.
our.
One last thing here, Beep. Sorry,
Go ahead.
the last thing at this movie is at the end of it, the after credit scene. You see that Sean Boswell's character. He's kind of the one, head honcho now there in Tokyo in the race scene, and he gets behind the wheel, and who pulls up right next to him? Good old Dom Toretto. All right. So I don't know if you guys stayed to watch the after credits when Dom Toretto pulls up. He talks about how Han's a friend of his. And then you spend the next few movies being like, okay, so all of this takes place before Tokyo Drift. Tokyo Drift is still yet to happen. All right. But that's kind of where we end up at the end of the movie after he beats DK down that mountain. So now I think now we can close out and get ready for some trivia. But I wanted to kind of sprinkle in that last little important nugget of the movie. This is where where Justin Lin starts to sprinkle after seeing credits, after, throughout the series.
Play it, B.
Playing it. So, some trivia here. Over 100 cars were destroyed or wrecked during the filming of this movie. Toyo donated 4,000 tires for the movie, and roughly half were used. Ray's Engineering donated its 170 Volk racing wheels as well. And one last thing, I don't know if this is accurate or how accurate it is, but many of the scenes were actually reportedly filmed in Tokyo without filming permits. So, how about that?
So I do have a note on that. I do remember from Cinephobe to paraphrase from them at AO, but I do remember a trivia point that said that it was cheaper for the studio just to hire a fall guy for a lot of those scenes, and the fact at the time about if you can go over 180 kilometers that the police legitimately would not go after you was true. So a lot of those scenes from Cinephobe, from what I remember of that episode, they did say in the trivia that basically there was just somebody that just went to jail for the night. They got him out in the morning and went on with the filming of the next day. Like when the police showed up to the set, they were supposed to arrest one person. He was said that he was the director or whoever it was that needed to be to go to jail for the night, and then they stopped filming or whatever. We got whatever they needed to do, got out of there, and started again the next day.
Fair
I've
enough.
heard the same. I've heard the same. That they
All
just
right,
hired a guy to be the fake director. So every time they got in trouble, the fake director he got arrested, and so the real director was always there for the next day.
That's wild. That's wild. We're going to get into some ratings here. And I usually, pass it around, go around the horn, but I'm going to go first here. This is a get all the way the hell out of here with this movie. There's just so many things that just drive me absolutely banana sandwich. I've listed a few of them already. I cannot wait to not watch this movie again. Get out of here with Tokyo Drift. How say you?
All right, more trivia for you here. The aliases that we have for Sean Boswell's character in the Fast universe, we have the new DK, Drift King, Guy Jean, Monkey, Cowboy, Maverick, Jiffy Loop. This
What?
is
Hey, hey, we're the monkeys, baby.
Yeah, whoa. You should have left that one out.
well,
But keep going.
that's just. I'm just
Oh,
saying
yeah.
that's what,
Well, Bow Wow says to him, or Bow Wow, when they're getting into it with DK for the first time, is pushing him away and says, "Sorry, Monkey didn't have his banana." I think is where that one
Yes.
is from.
yeah. I'm just, that's what it says here on the Fast and Furious wiki. Anyways, this is all the way a yeah for your boy. I've seen this movie like Con Air. All right. What else did we cover? We did Con Air. What was the one that we did before this?
And the Wolverine.
The Wool. Oh, actually, okay, never mind. Just like Con Air. I thought we did another one. I've seen this movie a plethora of times, whether on cable, whether on DVD. I watched it on DVD because I own it. Okay, so it's a yeah for me. I'm on the opposite side there, Beep. It's essential. You need it for some of the plot, for some canon, and that's why you need Tokyo Drift and Justin Lin. We don't get the rest of the Fast Saga without Justin Lin.
No, this is a yeah. This is a yeah all the way for me. I mean, I said last week in the recording that mark me down for a yeah, because this is such an important movie for the franchise, just based on the canon. Now, is Sean a great lead? No. Is the story filled with plot holes? Yeah. Is there a lot of terrible acting in this movie?
Yes.
Yeah, specifically
Irrelevant.
from Sean's parents. I think that they passed down the bad acting gene to him in this movie. However, Jesus, that dad is bad. He like I don't. He's just so bad at that. Like I don't know if it's acting or parenting. Maybe he's acting so well at not giving a shit about his kid. But yeah, no, this is a yeah for sure. You come here for the racing. You come here for Han. You don't necessarily go for Sean or Bow Wow. But this movie is entertaining. If you don't find the movie entertaining, the music throughout, I think at least they blow a lot of the budget on the music in the first 30 minutes of the movie, and then we get the Tokyo Drift sound again at the end. But it's a yeah. What say you, Ed Bob?
Think for me, I'm going to have. So we got yeah, we got meh, and we got fair.
We have two yes and a fat
Okay, I think we.
so far.
I'm gonna put
but yeah,
this
that's
one right now. This is a low yeah for your boy. It's a low yeah. I'd watch it again, honestly, just to see the cars. And Beep, I'm sorry, because I literally finished this movie 5 minutes into the podcast. I just watched it just to watch it. Okay, I just watched it so I could be on here. So I didn't want to disappoint. So maybe if I give it a rewatch, I'll be different. But as a fake car guy, a guy who likes cars, who likes cool, fast cars, I enjoyed it. It was cool, fast cars. I love Japanese cars, and so I enjoyed it. Yeah.
All right. So that's 3 yes and 1 strong feh from the old beeper.
Man, I can't believe these guys.
I think maybe we might need to add so we got yeah, we got meh, and we got fed. Can we add, maybe we need to add a
meh with drinks.
just
Nah.
a
Nah.
I
Nah.
need a
That's the meh.
Somebody gotta-
The meh is like, I could see myself watching this one again. It's not gonna, it's not one of my favorites, but I could see myself watching it again.
I feel like meh is Meh is like if it's on cable, I'll watch it. I feel like is a I'll watch it if I have to. But this is not my it's not my pod. Let me stop changing things.
So it's 3 yes and a feh, right? Is that what we're sticking with?
It's a yeah for your boy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go spit in my fist and cry over this one. Can we talk about can we talk about the fist spitting when he's up there fighting up on the roof? What the hell was spitting in the fist for? Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that?
I don't know what it meant, but I know it meant ultimate disrespect.
I'd be a fan of The Rock.
I did some reading and some research on it. The only time that this is even talked about is because of this movie. There's a tweet from 2011 that is like the number 1 or number 2 on Google search. When you search up why are you spitting in your fist Tokyo Drift, it's the number 2 search on the Google search. And all the comments in there, hey, I saw this in 2024. Google brought me here. 2025, I still don't know the answer to this. 2026, we're still spitting in our fist, and I have no idea why.
No idea.
It felt disrespect.
It was so... Because it was like a...
It was just so forceful. It was so...
Like, I would spit on you. But
I don't want to be that... I don't want to...
But I want you to know this is how hard I would spit on you. Like, it just felt so... Because he did it so strong, and like the spit splattered everywhere.
Visceral.
Still.
Yeah.
But like it was just like you lucky this didn't get on you. But didn't Bow Wow get spit on at one point in the movie?
Yeah, with food. He spits out some food. Morimoto spits out some food and hits him. All right. Who's turn?
Spit on?
Yes, he does. Whose turn is it to pick the next movie? Is it Pal, Paddy?
It's either Paddy or Pal.
Paddy or Pal. All right.
Because I picked Wolverine. I think you picked Tokyo.
What are the options, Beep?
So I'm going to give you 3 different options here. I'm going to give you. We talked about The Rock, right? He's sort of a daisy chain here. So we have Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. We have Game Night. Or we have Step Brothers or Ocean's 13. I'll give you 4 selections there.
Oh, we have some good options here.
Okay. Can I take this one, Paddy?
Yeah, go ahead, Bubba.
Ocean's 13.
Touch my drum set.
Ocean's 13. All right, Ocean's 13 is going to be coming at you next week. We want to thank you all for listening to us and checking us out here on YouTube. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, follow, review, all the good things. You can find us wherever you get podcasts. Again, this has been at Beep Count from Lauer After Hours Presents Cinemeh saying don't spit in your fist.
See you guys.